Hello there, my name is Enesi, almost like Hennessy but without the H. I'm your host and welcome to the Whiteroom. Sit back, get some snacks, gather your friends and enjoy the show. We've all gone through challenging life experiences, some more complicated than others. Our individual stories carry so much power. Our stories are like fruit from a tree, food for us all. The growth of the fruit is rarely seen, the twists and the turns, but every step as important as the last. Sharing her story with me is the wonderful Enkay Rockson.
So my name's Enkay Rockson.
Mm-hmm.
Where am I supposed to look, by the way?
That's your camera there.
Oh, sorry. I think my biggest goal, it might sound cliche to a lot of people, but I can't let this goal go, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I want to help people, to be honest, especially underprivileged Black people. You know, that's something I'm really passionate about.
Why?
I don't know, because I always think about my life and my situations, and I think everything that's happened, and I could be really irritated and have an argument with somebody and be like, oh my God, I'm having a really horrible day, but at least I still get to go home to a house and a bed and there's food, I've got my car, you know, I've got money, and I think there are people that don't have that. Even when I'm broke, you know, there's still people that I'm not, you know.
You're not as broke as someone else.
Yeah, do you get it? And I always think about, I sometimes ask myself, why? Like, what makes me so special that I'm not like them? But also, what makes me less than that I'm not as rich as like the richest person in the world, you know? It's a hard question to answer. So I don't have the answers, but what I want to do is at least help those, especially children, because I think your childhood is so important. So yeah.
Did you have a good childhood?
Ooh.
Or do you look back at your childhood and have fond memories? You don't have to go into detail.
Yeah, it's a bit of both. I think the one thing about the mind is that you tend to hold on to like the negative
all the time,
things.
but I forget all the positives that happen.
Sometimes I sit there and I do try to remind myself of the positive things and the moments that I spent with my family. But yeah, there were just a lot of ups and downs. But yeah, there were definitely good moments, and I think I'm always trying to remind myself of the good moments. Yeah.
And I think it's really like life is such a teacher, because sometimes you think you're going on one trajectory and then, I think I said the word right, and then just life just comes with its bulldozer.
Yep. And
you're on another thing. I would say for me, something I've never spoken to, well, I've spoken to people about it, like my immediate friends or who I'm around or who I'm working with, but I've never like put it on social media or anything, and nobody would really notice. But when I was 15, I had to have an operation on my back. So my spine, I had scoliosis. You know what scoliosis is?
I do,
yeah, so for people that don't know what it is, it's the curvature of your spine. And mine was at a 45-degree angle.
Wow.
Yeah, 45. And I remember the day that my sister noticed that I was topless, and I was running around in the house, and then I went in her room, and she said, my middle name is Victor. So she was like, Victor, your body's weird. Your body's weird. I thought she was just trying to tease me or whatever. I was like, shut up, whatever. And I went to, and she's like, no, look in the mirror. Your body's actually strange. And I was like, oh, this is weird. Like, I tried to like piece myself together, but it wasn't really going.
Yeah.
So then I went to my mum. I said, Mum, look at my body. Like, what's going on? Like, why am I like this? And she's like, let's go to the GP. So we went to the GP. They were like, yeah, your spine is twisted.
Wow.
That's the word he used. So I was thinking, oh my gosh, what's that? So we referred to the hospital. He just looked at me and was like, yeah, you've got scoliosis. You're gonna need an operation. You're gonna need one. And I was like, oh my gosh. And at that age, I don't think I really understood the magnitude of what I was undergoing.
Yeah.
Because obviously any operation on your spine is very delicate, and it can have a lot of repercussions, and you know, you can end up paralyzed or whatever. So anyway, I had to have a body brace.
Wow. For
I think a good part of 6 months, 6 to 8 months, I think. I had to wear a body brace underneath my school uniform. It was plastic and I had to attach it. It's because they were worried, because at that age, it's when you're going through your growth spurt.
Yeah.
And they were worried that it was gonna just grow even worse.
Oh, wow.
So we had to do that. And it was the most uncomfortable time of my life. And we went through the operation, and what they had to do in the operation is they put metal rods in to hold my spine in place. So what that means now for me is that I don't really have flexibility of my torso.
You wouldn't know until
Everybody
you
tells me
say,
this, but you know when it's in your own head,
yeah, definitely.
you notice it straight away. You notice what's meant to be.
Yeah.
You notice what's not quite right all the time, like what you were saying, you pick on the negatives and stuff like that. I feel kind of free that I've spoken about that now, actually. I do. But yeah, and I think that to me is like one of those invisible disabilities. I don't like calling it a disability.
I know, oh my gosh, I hate the word disability.
I don't like it.
Okay, no I don't, because when it's used in the right way, but oh my gosh, I think it's something, it's hard to get used to.
And I think we were talking a bit earlier, I definitely feel I've gone through that for a reason, and I've gone through that to help someone. People that are out there that may have body confidence issues and look at people and think, oh, they look fine, whatever. Not everybody's looking fine, not everybody feels fine. And telling my story, I think, hopefully will uplift people. And I know you have such a magical story, and I know you have a beautiful story, and I really want you to tell it.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're ready.
I mean, I'm probably not going to articulate it as well as you did, but how do I even start?
You start from the beginning.
From the beginning. So, long story short, okay, because it's quite a long process until I got my diagnosis. But last year, at the beginning of last year, I was told that I have a rare form of cancer on my foot. So it's a very random place to have it. But the type of cancer is called a sarcoma. Sorry, I'm trying to educate people out there. It's a sarcoma, it's really rare. Obviously, I say it only happens to rare people. So, you know, I was told, I went by myself, by the way, because I do a lot of stuff by myself.
You went to the hospital by yourself?
Yeah, to get the results, because I was like, oh, it's lump. Everybody at home was like, oh, you'll be fine. Do you know what I mean? My GP was like, oh, I'm sure it'll be fine. It was probably just, I thought it was some really tight shoes that I wore. So when I got to, finally, I had to do what did I do? I did an X-ray, I did, what else did I do? An ultrasound and an MRI. And so when I got to the MRI bit, I was like, damn, this is serious. So then I met a doctor, and he was like, you have a tumor. So I was really sad, oh my God, tumor, but he was like, you'll be fine. At
that point, when they said that to you, what went through your head? I'm just because I can imagine just this shock and numbness will just come over me.
But you know what's funny? I got news twice, because the first time around I was told you have a tumor. Tumors could be benign, or they could be, oh my gosh, this word is literally in my head, malignant. Anyways, my doctor, listen, tumors could be benign or really crazy, cancerous, basically. And the first doctor basically just said, I'm sure it's benign, don't worry, you'll be fine. So I was like, oh, I'll be fine. So I finally went to a different, I got referred to a specialist hospital, and then they did a biopsy. I don't know if you know what a biopsy is.
No, I don't.
So what they do is it's like a big needle, and they put it into the tumor or wherever it is, and they take out a and they test it to see if it's cancer or not. So that's when I got the results. Oh my God, it's so weird that I'm talking about it, wow.
How do you feel? Comfortable?
I felt comfortable.
Good.
I thought I'd be I felt more comfortable talking about this.
Good.
Because it's been happening. But yeah, so when I finally went to get the actual cancer diagnosis, I went by myself, because I go to all my appointments, or hospital appointments, by myself. So when I got there, the doctor was like, oh yeah, so we've done the biopsy, and you have a sarcoma. I was like, okay.
What does that mean for you?
What does that mean for me? Because I'd never heard of sarcoma before.
100%.
And he was like, well, and he was very blunt, very straight to the point. It is a very rare type of cancer, it's aggressive, and within 10 seconds, he was like, we're probably gonna have to cut some of your toes off. Yeah, my actual reaction to. So all of that happened within 10 seconds. Aggressive cancer, we're gonna have to cut your toes off.
And immediately your life has changed.
Literally, I'm thinking, I don't want to die. I have so many dreams.
What's so interesting is how sometimes you go through things and it's you hear things like, okay, this is for them. This happens to them, not me.
Yeah.
But when it's happened to me,
I was like, me, you know? That was me at the beginning. I mean, I've definitely come to terms with it, but you know, exactly what you said. I think I always thought, wow, this happens to other people. Like, this is something you hear about on TV. This will never happen to me. I'm gonna live a simple, smooth life.
And die when I'm like 100 and something.
Yeah, like, duh, have grandkids and stuff. But obviously, like, once he said that, the room was like closing in. I was about to panic. I was like, what does this mean for me? What does this mean for my life? Like, you know, and I just started a job that I really loved. I was a youth worker, and I was working with young people, and I enjoyed it. So obviously, all of that was going through my head. And he's like, you have to cut some toes. I don't want to lose my toes. I'm literally bawling. I'm crying my eyes out. I'm like, I don't want to lose my toes. There was a nurse there. She was really helpful. And then the doctor was like, well,
what are we gonna do?
Like, he was like, it's a few toes. He's like, in my head, I'm thinking, let's cut your toes off. So he was like, oh, it's a few toes. And let me just run through the whole story and make it short. So eventually I had a few more appointments, MRIs, CT scans, because obviously of sarcoma, they're worried it could jump to another part of the body, especially the lungs. Because with cancer sometimes spreads to other parts. So I had to do CT scans of my chest. Thank God, everything was fine.
Thank God.
So it was just basically the leg that they were trying to focus on. And this is why I feel grateful that you're letting me share this story as well.
Really?
Because, no, I am. I'm really grateful. Thank you. Because I feel like somebody out there might watch this. Because I always think, it's really rare, but I'm sure
there is someone.
Because even if it's not in 2020, they watch it, they might watch it. Am I allowed to say the year?
You can say the year. You can say the year.
This is the future. No. But yeah, even if it's not like in 2020 that they watch it, it could be someone comes across it in 5 years' time, and it can still be relevant to them. Because when I got my diagnosis, I was like, oh my God, like, black people get cancer. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what people told me that in secondary school, that black people don't get cancer. It's a lie.
It's a lie.
Yes. So I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so young. And you know what's so funny? The cancer, the cutoff age was like 25 or really old people.
What does that mean?
So like the cancer usually happens to young people under 25.
Oh, that specific cancer,
yeah,
okay.
Or really old. So just a few more years.
Maybe.
But yeah, so I looked everywhere and I couldn't find anybody that basically had thing. I don't think till today I found one person who has had a clear cell sarcoma, but I found people who had osteosarcoma and other types of sarcoma, and every single person lost their leg. That was the thing. Every single person had to have their leg amputated, because obviously the whole idea of cancer is that you go with wide margins so that it doesn't come back again. But if you go really small and take out,
it can kind of like creep in.
You might miss a few cells. So the idea was, okay, from toes, within a week, he was like, okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go for half of the foot. Yeah, so I'm literally with my sister came with me, and I was looking at her like, I'm like, we're looking at each other like, is this real life?
What's going on?
Yeah, literally, we were like, so we both cried and it was fine. And I think at that point I was so exhausted that I was like, let's be done with this. I'm not a doctor, I don't have the answers. I'm like, let us just do whatever we need to do so I can live my life, you know? So much had to be stopped. I couldn't even go to work because I couldn't think
properly.
And you can imagine the role I was in. I had to support young people, but I was struggling.
You need to support yourself, yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, I went to see orthotics and prosthetics team. So we were initially planning to do some sort of
fake leg or something? Or
fake foot.
Fake foot.
But the whole idea is you can't just amputate half a foot and walk. So the idea was they were going to go below the knee. So they're going to cut below the knee so you can fit a prosthetic leg on it.
So then all of this will be gone?
Gone, yes.
Jesus.
Yeah, but I mean, this happens to a lot of people, and I think this has really opened my eyes to so much. You don't realize how important something is,
until it's gone.
Yeah, and you don't really realize the depth of something. You just see people with prosthetic legs and don't really understand how that is or the process they have to go through. And so it opened my eyes to a whole new world, how prosthetics were made. So initially we were planning I was gonna lose my leg. And Obviously, my dad was like, no, this is not happening.
Are your family religious?
Yeah, oh gosh.
As in prayers?
Yeah. My dad actually flew out of the country. It's funny now, but I'm really grateful he did. He flew out of the country to there was like a church seminar thing because my dad's really religious, and he was like, no, you're not losing your leg. And I was like, Dad, just let it be. Because another woman.
New age people, let it be.
Yeah, because I met another woman, and her dad was a pastor, and she lost her leg to sarcoma, and she obviously felt like her dad used to feel like, oh my gosh, I didn't pray enough. I think that's the thing I want to say to anybody who might be watching this. It doesn't matter if you're a good person or young or old. Things just happen. That's how I view it.
And that's just how life is.
That's just how life is.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah. So anyway,
it will come for you.
Literally, it will come. It will come. Don't let anyone tell you cancer doesn't happen to black people, because it does. So So basically, I was actually planning on getting my leg amputated, but then last minute, a bunch of stuff, we did more scans, and they were like, okay, let's not go too radical, because they had seen something else in my scan, and they were like, the whole idea of going radical is to protect you from whatever. So yeah, they didn't amputate.
Thank God. Thank
God, but that basically put my life on hold. To get out the tumor, they basically had to go wide with the bones inside. So I've got some missing bones now in my foot.
Okay. And
nerves and tendons. So I've got all my toes.
Amen.
But the whole idea is I can't move 2 of my toes anymore.
Okay.
Because obviously they had to take out the nerves.
Your mental health during that year must have been...
That's the best way. That is the best way to describe it, yeah. I mean, I'm still doing therapy.
Going through,
Yeah, I've had a couple therapists in that time. So yeah, it's been, wow, it's so weird talking about it.
But do you feel freer now that you've spoken about it? How do you feel now?
I think I take my time to process
yeah.
my emotions. So I'll probably get home and think about it. But I mean, if I can help somebody, or somebody out there feels like they're not alone, because trust me, when I got my diagnosis, especially when they say a rare situation, I'm like, I Googled, I couldn't find anything. I had to go on Twitter, I found like 3 people, and most of them were white, and I found 1 black woman, but still, her everything that she went through was not exactly what I went through. So, but it was similar. So I feel like if I can just be that person for somebody else, because
that's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's not nice to feel like you're like an alien, or like you're the only one.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much for speaking to me today, and thank you so much for sharing your story and feeling comfortable, and allow me to feel comfortable sharing mine as well. You really helped me do that as well. So
I'm glad.
Yeah.
We can talk about it some more. Text me.
Yeah.
You ready? When I first saw you, I already knew there was something inside of you, something I thought that I could never find. No angel of mine. Oh,
look at you, looking at me, yeah. Now I know why they say the best things are free. Gonna love you, boy, you are so fine, yeah. Angel of mine.
How you changed my world, you never know.
I'm different now, you helped me grow, yeah. Came into my life. When I lost all hope,
Show me love.
show me love.
Checking for you, boy, you're right on time.
Yeah.
Angel of mine. Nothing means more to me than what we share.
What we share.
No one in this world could ever compare. Last night the way we moved is still on my mind, yeah. Angel of mine. Yeah.
How you changed my world, you never know. Deep inside, I need to show each moment as if they were new. Yeah.
Every breath that I take, the love that we made, I only share it with you.
When I first saw you, I already knew there was something inside of you, yeah. Something I thought that I would never find, yeah. Angel of mine, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sent from above,
Sent from above.
you show me love.
Show me love.
I'm checking for you, boy, you're right on time.
Yeah, yeah.
Angel of mine. Oh,
Came into my life. Sent from above.
sent from above.
When I lost all hope, show me love.
Show me love.
I'm checking for you, boy, you're right on time.
Yeah, angel of mine. How you changed my world, you never know. I'm deep inside,
Need to show.
I look at you,
I look at you,
looking at me.
looking at me.
Now I know why they say the best things are free. Gonna love you, girl, your arms don't find her. Angel of mine, oh mine.
Mine.
That's a wrap. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe so you can keep up to date with what we're doing in the White Room. Until next time.